The house wasn't locked, but monsters disguised as humans wouldn't step inside. The woman clutched a talisman stone, praying she'd survive until morning. Each night, monsters gathered in the town, feeding on human organs until sunrise. To protect the people, the sheriff rang a bell before sunset every day. Once it sounded, everyone rushed home and touched their talisman by the door. Even small children followed this rule. That's how terrifying nights were in this town. Only after streets were empty, the sheriff returned to his office. A sign showed 96 nights survived, but tonight, that number would break. A man got too drunk at the bar, so the owner let him sleep there. His wife and kids waited at home. Worried, she locked the door. That night, their daughter heard her dead grandmother outside. She peeked out and saw her. "Let me in," the voice said. It was cold. The girl opened the window, ignoring her mom's screams. It was already too late. Next morning, the man woke up to neighbors gathered at his home. Before he could ask, the sheriff slapped him. He'd warned parents to nail shut windows. Kids are the easiest to deceive. But the man ignored the rule. His daughter paid the price. Seeing her remains, he fell to his knees in guilt. But it was already too late. The sheriff hated him, not just for his own loss. When someone dies in town, a newcomer always arrives, and their safety gets threatened too. On the day of the funeral, an RV entered the town. The sheriff told no one to speak, then asked the family what happened. They were lost. He pointed them forward, but no matter how they drove, they couldn't leave the town. They circled endlessly, just as the sheriff expected. He said nothing, wanting them to adapt quickly. They had to break mentally first, to survive the nights. But then disaster struck. The RV crashed into the woods. The father was pinned in the driver's seat. The mother was unconscious. The daughter had a sprained back, but the son was worse. A branch had pierced his leg. The sheriff waited at a roadblock, but they never returned. With nightfall coming, he went to find them. He found the wreck, and pulled 3 of them out. Only the boy remained inside, bleeding too much to move. There were just 40 minutes left. Before dark, treatment needed an hour. The sheriff chose to stay. He sent the others back, and prepared to survive the night. He hung the talisman in the RV. The man was confused. The sheriff blocked all openings, then explained the danger outside. Suddenly, the boy began convulsing. Monsters were already near. The sheriff saw them through the window. They were gathering fast. Even he started to panic. The RV was totaled, but they couldn't leave. Outside were monsters, pretending to be human. Their only hope was the talisman stone. The sheriff clung to it, praying for daylight. Then came voices outside, monsters mimicking humans. The sheriff stayed calm, but the newcomer Jim panicked. He thought rescue had arrived, and reached for the door. The sheriff blocked him. Those outside weren't people. They were soul-eating monsters. If Jim wanted his son safe, he had to wait till morning. Jim finally calmed down, but didn't know his wife and daughter had their own trouble. The rescue truck broke down. They had to walk. Night fell, and monsters filled the woods. When they reached the safe house, the residents refused to open. No one knew if they were human. Then a boy appeared, calling the daughter's name. She froze, under the monster's spell. Luckily, the deputy reacted fast, and shot the boy, but he didn't flinch. The leader shouted to open the door. The group rushed inside, but the mother and daughter were tied up. A routine to confirm they weren't monsters. They were split up for questioning. The leader explained, everyone here arrived by accident. Some weren't as lucky. Arriving at night, they never had a chance. The mother worried about her husband and son, still trapped in the RV. Meanwhile, monsters still circled the vehicle. The sheriff reassured them. As long as the talisman was intact, they were safe. They just had to stay calm, and avoid panic. Eventually, the noise stopped, but late in the night, Jim suddenly stood up, and touched the talisman. The doctor tried to stop him. Too late. It was only a nightmare. They survived the night. By dawn, the rescue team arrived. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Now the newcomers had to choose, live in the crowded safe house, or the more dangerous townhomes. Townhomes offered privacy, but came with risks. Talisman checks were required nightly. Families with kids had to seal windows. Monsters often tricked children into opening doors. To enforce rules, the town had punishments. Anyone who caused a death was locked in the metal shed overnight. No talisman, no survival. The mother asked if the shed had been used. The priest said never, but tonight would be the first. After all the introductions, Jim's family had to choose. He expected they'd stay together, but his daughter chose the safe house. Maybe she felt neglected. Her parents were shocked, but the sheriff insisted they had to leave immediately. To ease their fears, he promised his own son would watch over her. Everyone headed out. Tonight was the execution. The drunken man, who lost his family, was locked in the metal shed. The sheriff added extra locks, praying he'd make it through. But as the door shut, the man's fate was sealed.